Mr. Ravi Pandikunta, who is Delivery Head and Digital Enterprise Architect, Data Analytics and AI Enterprise at Tech Mahindra. Giving a brief introduction, Mr. Ravi carries over 24 plus years of rich expertise in global consulting, center of excellence, and delivery engagements. He is helping clients to visualize their digital future, translating business needs, desired outcomes into technology strategies, and digital enterprise architecture plans to keep pace in the digital age, thus controlling cost and mitigating business risk. With this, please welcome Mr. Ravi with a huge round of applause.
Good morning to all of you. Can you hear me? Thank you. Thank you for inviting. It's a great honor to be here and share some of the knowledge. We have seen now a kind of how we operate with the data, right? Everyone now depends on data. Without data, we can't even start our day. Do you all agree? Right? We want to come here, we have to plan 1, 2, 3, 4 before that so that you can reach on time. Even before you leave home, you need to have a data to look at it. Okay, what time I'm going to reach? So that rest of the things you can plan it. Now, there are changes in the data also, right? The way businesses are happening. Even we have experienced in our personal life. Every one of us deal with data, and data is growing exponentially every day, every minute. Our resume used to be 10 KB, 12 KB, now it becomes maybe 100 KB, 200 KB. We used to have floppy disk, at least I had. Now 1 terabyte is also full. You don't use it, but you still want to keep it. And look at enterprises, how much data they are generating and how they want to use that data for the business benefits. Now more and more enterprises want to look at insights from the data. Right? That is how they benefit from decision making or use it in their businesses. If they can't retrieve, if they can't use it, then it's a big no use of the data. Just they're maintaining some dumb records. We have seen enterprises asking now they want to go back to the data as back as like 100 years. Everything is stacked up in papers and records, but still they want to digitize, use that data in today's scenario. As simple as like weather records. What was weather report when somebody is digging oil and gas? They want to look at data 50 years back. What was the economical condition? What was the political? What was the other things in that area so that they can plan it accordingly? The data has become more important in today's scenario than it was before. And it has become in mainstream. And it is getting standardized day by day. As we move, more and more standardization being brought into the data, and the measurements also getting changed every day, right? That is how each business is defining. KPIs are getting tracked, and they're using that for decision making. Data-driven decision making is what is happening. Now, if you look at BPOs, it is more important to BPOs to look at because it is an extended arm, and they have been given access to the main businesses, right? Now, how we want to secure the data, how we want to trust your data, and how we want to make it available to others and still have the governance in place. These are the 4 key elements you have to look at it when you are dealing with data, right? Now, moving on, the evolution of BPO services. We had some time, okay, I want somebody to do this job. Okay, I want somebody to do it in a time. Now, I'm not worried who is doing, what is doing. I'm looking at outcome-based model. That is how the BPO systems itself has evolved over a period of time, right? Now we have first generation, second generation, third, fourth and fifth, right? Now if you look at the change happened over a period of time, everything now, including software development, we want outcome based. I'm not interested in your waterfall, your agile, nothing. I want this piece of work to be done this time, that's it. How you do it, how many people you put it, you do it, but you charge me accordingly competitive price. That is how we are dealing with. Same thing with the BPO industry as well. Outcome based model. I will give you access, I will give you what you need, but get me results. Result oriented BPO services. That is the insights we are dealing with in today's scenario, right? Now, what is the market we are looking at, right? Which is the capital city of BPO services in the world? Which country has more? Philippines. For BPO, it's the Philippines, right? It's more matured service offering from there. And software we are, so the market is expected to still grow. And if you look at by 2028, with a 10% growth, it's a market to capture, right? Now, as a part of your business analytics, how you want to benefit those in your BPO services, and how you want to extend your architecture, or how you want to use those unseen insights from the data, right? You, as a extended arm, as a BPO service, you have full access. And in fact, you have integrated data access to look at it and give insights. Like in the morning, one of our speaker was talking, right? Data is coming from multi-channels. How do you collate? How do you get all these insights together? When somebody calls, you have 2 seconds, 3 seconds to get back, right? By the time you should have entire data. Same thing in insurance. When claim comes, I want to get 10 other parameters through AI so that I can decide whether to approve, or can I employ AI itself to approve the claim without any human touch. That is where we are heading in today's scenario. All this is happening because of data. Without data, you can't even do anything, right? Now, when it is getting into the mainstream, right, in the BPO, now you have to look at the technologies, how you can improve the productivity, right? Now, the more and more services, more and more automation, even in BPO, we are trying to reduce the headcount. We want to bring in what we can do with the data, what technologies, what re-engineering you can do to processes to cut down everything and improve the productivity. Get the results out as quickly as possible. That is what it is. Now, those some of the traditional operations and the workflows what we have, those are getting changed with the modern automations, reimagined workflows, digital transformations, IoTs. Sitting at home, you can monitor factory floor. Do you all agree? Right? We can outsource somebody to look at asset-heavy industries. They don't need to visit the floor. They can sit at home, they can monitor. They don't even sit at home. They can get alerts instantly, real time. If something happened, immediately they can take action. That is where we are heading. And we constantly look at real-time monitoring. Real-time analytics is much more complex. One of the projects we are running where we get per second 25,000 messages per second from various missions. Then you have to quickly analyze and look at it. Okay, what decision you want to take it. So that is the vast majority of data we are getting processed. Now, some of the data dilemmas you might have come across, right? So I have a lot of processes, I have a lot of information. How can I use some of the cloud-based solutions for faster decision making? How can I use this data? How do I secure? How do we keep data quality and governance? Governance and compliance has become much more stringent now with a lot of new rules coming in place, right? How many of you know GDPR? Everybody knows, right? HIPAA compliance, everybody knows. If you have data and if you are not compliant with those governance, you are going to be fined heavily. The CIO job, or now rather the CDOs, most of the organizations have now divided CDO, and some part of the responsibilities are given to CDO as well. Now they have to keep data where it is getting generated, where it is getting consumed, what happens in between, right? And what are the compliance, what are the regulations they have to follow, and how secure the data is, and how you can trust and protect your data, and how easily you can access the data also. If you lock it somewhere and it is not accessible, it is of no use. It has to be accessible, it has to be secured, it has to be protected. Those are the guidelines you have to look at it and follow in the modern data platforms, right? If you look at the BPO, most of the time we want to get real-time intelligence. That is where we are focusing. And look at some of the business reporting and data discovery we want to do. And how you want to architect your data and analytics systems in BPO or in general, any enterprise systems to get these things, right? Reliable with low latency, data quality, and give the self-service. Most of the data scientists, business analysts, end users, they want to play with the data. They want to do self-service analytics. That is the key term you might have come across, right? self-analytics or self-service analytics. They want to play, they want to grab, they want to do themselves. They don't want software development to be very stringent process, right? And similarly, volume with the performance. When you have huge data, terabytes of data, petabytes of data now, how quickly you can discover and get some insights, right? How you can improvise. Now, it's much more far away, moving into the cloud and then distributing across the countries, geographies, and giving equal access, replicating the data and giving access to the all others. Now, some of the process automation we have seen and how this is helping, and I'm sure most of us looked at this, right? How bots are helping. These have moved into now where at some point humans were doing, right? All the bots are getting deployed into the BPO industry, and most of the tasks are getting optimized. But still they have many things to do. It's not like it is replacing, it is improving the productivity. That is how you have to look at it. And some of the data strategies you need to look at it is how you are gaining insights, right? How quickly you can get those things across data silos. And one of our colleagues morning was telling, right? Everywhere data is getting duplicated. That is where the CDP came into picture, customer data platform, just for customer data. Similarly, if you look at main business areas, I have seen 10 to 12 ERP systems implemented in some of the customer places, right? Now that consolidation, it's maybe due to acquisitions or due to various reasons, or maybe regional IT system they run. Same company, US, one ERP system, Japan, some other ERP system, for whatever reason, right? So decisions would have been taken and implemented. Now, again, you start consolidating, then some acquisition, then again it happens. So the data copies keeps happening, and you have to have consolidation. You have to look at it, how you want to get those silos together. Similarly, how you want to look at ahead and design the architecture now. Like we have heard about multi-tenant, we heard about creating architecture for future expansion. That is where you need to, tomorrow if I'm going to acquire some company, how quickly I can get data into my platform? How quickly I can transition that company into mine? If I'm expanding to other region, how can I expand my existing platform? Big enterprises, if you look at, if they have operations in multi-region, multi-countries, they have duplicated IT systems. They take, or they might implement entirely different thing, maybe various reason, but for example, master data management. Master data management in Europe is different system, US different system, or Australia different system. If you think ahead, design in such a way that I want to take this system to other countries as well, so that you can start implementing those new architectures, you can start implementing in a better way, right? That's what you need to look at it as a part of a strategy. And what is the focus on your data, and how you want to use third-party platforms, right, to securing or utilizing those some of the standards. Understand the customer data and look at what platforms and how you want to benefit from those things. Very, very important to define a strategy for your data architecture. Very, very important how you want to get insights, how you want to secure and govern your data, right? With data strategy only you can design for the future without much implications. Otherwise, you end up changing. Now, this is very important slide to look at data value chain, right? So we have a lot of data sources getting generated. Again, 80% of data we deal with unstructured data. Do you all agree? Every one of us has unstructured data, right? Structured is very, very like 20%, maybe 25%. And still there are many companies who write slips, big enterprises I'm talking. And they give you voucher to go and reimburse, right? Similarly, when you want to ingest data, now with the advances, there is the Airtel launch last week, right? Always on IoT. Anybody knows what is always on? There is a service Airtel launched. It's called Always on IoT. Okay, good. So, absolutely. Right? So it gets integrated with whichever telecom provider in that region, right? And it keeps you always connected. And this is being mandated by the government of India in monitoring your important or prescribed vehicles like ambulances, buses, right? Some of the transportation and other things, and it is getting expanded. So Airtel has launched last week with connection with others. So It's a real-time data. Every second you will be getting data and you need to consume. You need to start using that one. So that is where you see data ingestion happening both real-time and the batch time, whatever transactions you want to move into batch. Now once you have data, right, you want to look at servicing, you want to look at data storage. You don't want to store garbage, right? You want to clean as much as possible while storing itself. And similarly, you want to start consuming or you want to start provisioning the data for further process in the flow. So these things should happen. If it is a real-time data coming in, you should have architecture in place to tackle these type of things. Similarly, once you have the data, how do you look at consumption, right? What is your layer and how it is looking like? And what insights you can get through advanced analytics, right? And how you can give it to self-service BIs or self-service or integrations. Data monetization, very, very important concept. I have data and I want to use it, right? For example, we have seen logistics companies, we have seen OEMs, right? For logistics company, vehicle is on the road, they make money. Now, if OEM can give that data real time, they benefit from that. So logistics started consuming data from the OEMs by subscription basis, right? And we have seen now some of these equipments like elevators, right? Now they insert a chip in the elevator. It keeps sending data. Kone has already started this. It sends data real time, and the predictive maintenance, they come to maintenance only when it is required. They don't come regular maintenance. They were able to save millions of dollars, right? Same thing is getting extended to the industries as well now. Some of the things you need to look at is what is your data management strategy, master data management, quality, governance, security, and important thing is observability and the future-proof architecture what you have created, right? So please look at those things and see how you want to benefit from that. In this value chain, right, a lot of tools, technologies, or platforms you can come across. And most of the hyperscalers today is capable of doing end-to-end. Take it AWS, take it Azure, take it GCP, right? Everyone has lows and highs, but most of these hyperscalers have, and wherever there is a gap, you can look at it, how you want to fill that gap. So that way, you are pretty sure you can process this. And one concept, at least good amount of customers you have seen is multi-cloud. I know he mentioned it is a challenge, but most of the time, the customers ending up, whatever reason may be, having more than one cloud in place, right? And continuously, they also have some of the on-prem systems, and data is moving. Cloud means data, right? So data is moving between back and forth, between regions, and how you want to secure, how you want to architect, and what are the best practices you want to follow. And we have seen customers spending millions of dollars because of some of the inefficient architectures they created, and data movement is happening between clouds or within the cloud. So a good enterprise architect view has to be looked upon, and wherever possible, you need to look at how you want to create a Kubernetes or some of the containerization so that you can cut down some of the cost and reduce the data movement. Try to get as much as in the initial stage before you move into the final destination so that you don't do that many data transfer actions so that you can reduce the cost. We were able to help customers millions of dollars to cut down their cost by optimizing their services usage in the cloud. Very, very important to look at it, right? Some example I gave, most of the hyperscalers have the same thing. I just picked up Azure and AWS. Who is a data producer? Who is the consumer? What happens in between, right? Data management, your governance, your access control, your sharing of data, many things, right? All these things happens within your cloud, and it's pretty much matured product now in the market. Similarly, if you look at Azure, right, you have the data generation, data ingestion process, right, and also how you want to consume the data, what technologies, and how you want to optimize. This is publicly available information, right? These are some of the best practices published by these respective companies, but it's up to us how we want to use. Most of the time, what happens is it's a short sight, or due to whatever time or whatever thing, we implement something, then we end up modifying, then again we end up adding something else, and it is a continuous process. But always follow best practices published by some of those providers, and there are white papers to look at it and start implementing that one. Very, very important, right? A quick benefits to look at it, operational engine, definitely you can look at it when you have easy access and you can process the data what you are getting it. Discovering insights, definitely it is required. And look at innovation, right? How you can manage your front office, back office, customer data and all other things, right? So that is where we see some of those benefits getting any industry, right? And BPO is dealing with much more complex, much more extended arm of these organizations when they outsource. So you have to look at how I want to architect, how I want to share with other companies. A person ending the shift in Australia might pick up here, but the data, the system's transition should happen so smooth. It's the next person. I have all the data available. Now when I end my shift and give it to other country, they should feel the same thing, right? That is how we need to transition from one channel to other channel or one system to other system with smooth and seamless. Now you might have seen this one, right? Now more and more robots and automation is coming. There is no wonder like some of the robots start getting awards, right? Do you all agree? Maybe we will disappear at some point, right? Star of the month or whatever. Now a bot which did not fail, which was able to process more transactions might be placed here. We have seen processes, we have seen people talking about it in the organizations. It might become real. Okay? Thank you all.